Welcome back. In today's lecture, we would be looking at the effectiveness of motivational interviewing through the lens of resilience and building resiliency skills. I'm just going to share my screen with you. The objectives of this lecture include we would assess the conceptualization of resilience through motivational interviewing or MI lens. We define motivational interviewing and understand how efficacious MI is. And of course, you'd have an activity to compare your values to your daily actions. Resilience through the MI lens. The resilient abilities include accessing positive emotional resources, coping ability, and resistance to stressors. Resilience can be learned, and it's definitely why we are teaching our program and sharing it with so many parents, teachers, and students. We hope to share it around the globe. It has been really, really awesome in getting results to help kids increase their grit. Right, motivational interviewing can play a huge role in building resilience as a coping mechanism. What is motivational interviewing? Am I? The resiliency coach leverages influence to drive change, right? So for our company, we have myself, I'm the clinical supervisor. We have a clinical director of pre-K to grade 2, who's Dr. Asif. We also have resiliency coaches. Our resiliency coaches are trained in facilitating our program individually as well as groups, and they basically have that the ability to have empathy, to have acceptance, as well as to gently encourage students who have a gap between the things they want to achieve and the actions that they are taking to help them get there. The basic idea is that it resolves ambivalence about an issue and involves the client or student in coming up with solutions for getting past hurdles that may stand in their way. Typically, for our students, they may say something like they want to be on the honor roll. However, one of the things they enjoy doing may be playing video games for 3 to 4 to 5 hours, which cuts away from their time to study and apply themselves academically. Upon examining their use of time, they're then able to brainstorm solutions that could get them closer to their goal of being on the honor roll. Okay, let's move to the next slide. There are 5 principles of motivational interviewing. As mentioned before, expressing empathy through reflective listening. I see you, I hear you. Develop discrepancy between the client's goals or values and their current behavior, as shared in the example prior. Avoid arguments and direct confrontation, right? That just gets us very, very defensive. Think about the last argument you had with someone, even though they may have been saying something that was truthful or honest about you, you probably weren't ready to receive that information and found yourself being defensive instead of accepting of their feedback. Adjust to client/student resistance rather than opposing it directly. Support self-efficacy and optimism. Right, so that adjustment to client resistance, for example, just this week we had a student who more or less has given up on the 8th grade. And when I spoke to the client, I did not ask her why she was doing it. I didn't confront her about doing it. I just went along with it. For example, she said, I'm not coming back to school because of COVID. And when we're back in school, I'll start back studying. And I said, okay, so that sounds like a plan. And what's going to be happening in with your education in the meantime? Are you willing to repeat 8th grade altogether? No, I can't. And I repeated 2 grades prior. Okay. Uh, do you think that there are other things that you may consider doing other than not going to school, and she said, well, maybe, right? So slowly she shifted into, oh, I could have help, and it's not the ideal situation where I'd prefer to be in school, but it is allowing me the ability to get closer to my goal of graduating. Right, and of course, I asked her things like her purpose, what she wanted to be when she grew up, and how does having an education facilitate that, right? And then she realized that to be able to do what she had to do, she needed to have an education. Okay, and that's an example of going with the resistance as opposed to trying to confront. Okay. Evidence-based modality, motivational interviewing. It helps a child identify the thoughts and feelings that cause her to continue unhealthy behaviors and help her to develop new thought patterns to aid behavior change. This technique is implemented most effectively after the resiliency coach has established a trusting rapport with the child. All right. So in some instances, for example, I was telling you about a child who gave up on the eighth grade. We did not have a rapport prior to, right? But I maintained, I did start off with some ground rules for the relationship, that I would be honest, I would not play with my phone while talking to her. And she agreed to do the same. And so we did establish some boundaries that we were willing to both abide by. Okay, so motivational interviewing, having just someone who we feel is accepting of us. We're happy, we're healthy, we're doing things that help us to feel good, and they're in alignment with our value system. Okay, as per normal, we have an activity for you to do. These are very reflective and engaging activities that I really hope you enjoy. I would like you to compare your top 5 values to your top 5 decisions, right? So, for example, 3 of my top values are loyalty, results oriented, and empathy. Loyalty, family, life, and relationships. I've made concerted efforts to show appreciation and to build relationships in my life. Results oriented, the business, Robinson Lloyd Resiliency Group, we use data focused coaching. So we're very much interested in results as well as the effectiveness of our programs. Empathy, in the marriage, I focus on the core values of my spouse, and even when we have situations to navigate together that may not be very pleasant, we're able to focus on the good, that we are good people, and that helps us to move forward. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing your top 5 values and how those values influenced your top 5 decisions. This brings us to the end of section 1, that was very based on the series of resilience, as well as how CBT and MI play a role in the coaching model to increase resilience. All right, so I'll see you for section 2. Bye for now.